Well, it's the 5th of June, and this is for Liz and Elizabeth and Nathaniel and V. A last glimpse of the garden with the pondless waterfall going. I pumped all the water out over the weekend multiple times, cleaned it, purged it, cleaned up the two filters in there and the pumps, and it's all going and happy. So yay, it's a lovely, peaceful little vignette. And I'm also proud of myself because I started cleaning up this area. I mean, I have a ways to go, but it's better than it was. So, and now we'll start moving through the garden. I don't know why, but this stays really wet. It shouldn't, but it does. And it's mostly parsley and some flowers, but since I didn't get out my celery or parsnips or carrots early, you know, the black swallowtail butterflies need something to munch on, so that is theirs beside the pollinator bed. And blanket flowers are looking good. Lavender, a couple of them are looking really good. And my cone flowers have finally started. I'm going to cut back the Joe Pye weed because it is a weed. And I did trim back the butterfly bushes, and they've really jumped up, so that's wonderful. This lavender bed isn't quite blooming yet. It's getting close, but my cilantro is, which is now coriander, because that's what it'll be making. And I got enough coriander last year to last me a lifetime, so I'm just letting the insects enjoy it. I've got some micro bees who are flitting around on it, and then I'll trim it back because I really don't need it. I have a volunteer sunflower. I have no idea how it got in there, but it did. The bachelor buttons, I think they are, that I started from seed, apparently they also need a Chelsea chop. So when they finish the first round of blooming, I'll see if that does any good, or if I just cut them back. Who knows? Butterfly bushes in here are doing well. Ironically, the middle one is supposed to be the big one, and it's not. The vermillionaires that I overwintered in the orangery are coming back nicely. We had a hard winter, so it took out a lot of my sage. Got a little bit of Russian sage and one Bergotten sage that survived. I got another one that is starting to leaf out. It didn't kill all the roots, but it killed two of them. Helianthus isn't big enough yet for me to Chelsea chop it, but I put a variety of things around it, including some mini sunflowers and stuff, so we'll see how it does. And I lost almost all of my rosemary. One survived this past winter. So, starting all over with new plants. And then I put in 2 additional grapevines here, because if you look at this, one side is very, very full and one side is not. So I'll even it up. That'll be fine. Oh, by the way, here's a look at my lovely organic kale. And the good news is, no cabbage loopers, no harlequin bugs. Army worms may still come up from the soil this fall, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. Even Robex asked Todd how he keeps his kale so perfect, because he always takes a leaf or 2 in when he gets smoothies made. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Strawberries are going to rebound. They also had a hard winter. And the lavender over here is doing really well. More bachelor buttons and coriander. So this is my lettuce processing station. Since the water coming out the spigot is filtered through our house treatment, I just rinse it 2 or 3 times until the water is nice and clear, and then I spin it and I bag it and I take it to coworkers. Tonight will be the last time I process lettuce because they're all bolting. So, and This is the best shot of the onions that are all nice and big, and they're starting to bulb up, so that's good. So as we come in, I'm taking one of the sweet cherry tomatoes, and I'm training it up over that. Eventually the grapes will come over and be on this too, which is fine. This will be a mini seating arbor. I'm looking to get a little collapsible bistro set. Here is what was originally my only indeterminate bed, and I am very proud of myself. I only have 3 in there, and they're already pretty full. I have trimmed them back already a couple times, so look at another trimming today. Going around, everything is looking good. I've got bell peppers. I even have one. I actually have a bell. It's so cute. But the tomatoes in here look good. I've got nice clusters happening on all of these. I've already got them trussed up. Lots of flowers. Everything's looking good. Of course, there's always the calendula, and the marigolds are starting to come up. I did them from seed out here. And I've been trimming back basil. My gosh, smells awesome. So, but yeah, I'm pretty happy. This was, I've said before, my row of peas that the birds ate all of them. Got one bean, one runner bean that survived. I think the plants might be getting big enough and the birds are off doing other things and looking for something more nutritious like bugs. So maybe I can slide in a few more beans here. I brought a few out to give it a shot. As you can see, all of the lettuce is starting to elongate and it's bolting. I have a few that I can still cut and get my last few bags. I have tomatoes that are starting to blush. It's very exciting. One over there that is starting to look pretty good. These are some of the peppers that I overwintered. I mean, I took the trouble to overwinter it, and I'm just gonna go from seed every year. They're doing really well. There's no need. I think that might be what introduced aphids into my orangery. So, nope, not doing it next year. It works, but it's unnecessary. So, especially when you have really good grow lights, and that has made all the difference. So backside, I have a volunteer tomato coming up. I have no idea what it is. It has to be an indeterminate. Ooh, I need to string you up. Oh, sorry, guy. I'll be back. And you can see the marigolds are coming. A few little weeds here and there that I have to get out. But yeah, they're pretty happy. The towers have done really well. I strung all of them. And I do have them braced and strung to the backside too to give them more strength. The eggplants are rebounding after being eaten up by the birds. And then this is the back row of beans that, who knows, maybe something will happen. If not, Todd can just go to the store and get himself beans. Can't help that. As you can see, I've already taken out a lot of the lettuce on the backside. And can't see it over here, but on this side, in between the lettuce, I have planted carrots. So you can see little carrot sprigs coming up here and there. So you really can't tell me that I have them too clustered, because they are rather spread out. But everything is looking really good. And then I'll go around to the backside. I will say now, I still have not done the extra bed, but the fencing is underway. We finished the other lot, and we've started coming up to our driveway. At least 3 more Saturdays before they get to our mailbox, at least. And I bought out Loudon Milling all of their split rails. Those are end and corners. I bought all of their line rails. We've used them all up. They hope to have a delivery this week. If not, I guess Todd and I are taking the trailer to Southern States Friday evening and loading up with all of the split rail 3-hole line posts we can get. Finished putting on the boat wheeled jacks on all 4 corners of the big coop. Just need to relocate those and very carefully with the tractor wheel it over. And the rooster is hanging out under his small coop, which will become a storage coop once we move him and hopefully a couple of lady friends to the big one. Hi, Cricket. You're so cute. She chased a bunny yesterday. It barely made it through the fence before she snagged the little tail. Anyway, potatoes are flowering and looking good. The potatoes that I started in the orangery, I think they're about done. I'm going to take this one and dump it and see what the state is, because they have started to die back like they will do when it's time. So I'll take that. Like I said, here's the back row of lettuce. Good grief, there was a lot of it. I don't need that much. More indeterminates. I converted the 3 cold frames I had back here. You can still see the angle that I had used for the cold frame that went up farther, that I also put my hand through. Scarred for life. But those are now a nice little indeterminate tomato run. And at some point I probably will be topping them, because I can only go so high with a ladder. So I need to, next up today, get in here and cut out all the brassicas and stuff. They're just leaves and flowering. But I have garlic on the back side of that jungle, and they might need a little more sunlight, or they might be getting close to coming out. I also think that one's ready to dump, but I'm going to start with a small one of potatoes before I do that. And this is what lettuce looks like when it bolts. It's actually kind of pretty, especially when you're talking the red romaines. So I'm leaving a few of them out here because I do like red romaine. So I'm going to let those flower and get the seeds from them. I discovered I have a lot of butter crunch, so I'm just cutting them all out. I'm not going to let any of those flower. I don't need them. And so we can see lettuce seeds are viable for a very long time. So come over here. I have a lot of volunteer amaranth, and I have amaranth starting up in the bed. So I weeded it a little bit yesterday. I'm going to stay on top of it. There's a wild thorny nightshade that's coming up in there, like a wild ground cherry or tomato, whatever they are, but I don't want them in there, so they'll be coming out. The 9 apple trees, some of them are really laden with fruit. I apologize. We're going to walk to the tree, because I do need to come out here today and thin the apples, because one, it's a poor little spindly tree, and it'll break if we let that go too long. And then maybe bag some to see if that'll work, because we do have pests. But this was one of the little broken trees that I had gotten from either Stark Brothers or Fast Growing Trees. I don't know which one. But it is just laden with lovely little Fuji apples. But yeah, it's too much. It's too much weight. So I need to really thin it down and give him he has a good root system, obviously, because he's put on a lot of fruit. But I need to give him more. I forget what this one is. This one is Red Delicious, but it's been attacked by insects. So, if I find like this one, I could bag that. I think I could bag a couple of these. They're still looking okay. And just see how it goes. I bought the bags. I might as well try it. But all of the trees are looking good, even the little ones that came broken that they replaced. So in a few years, this will be nice. For right now, it's just a work in progress. And then looking out back, the 3 pines I put in, they're doing well. Southern States gets those in again. I'll be buying more. Very happy, very fluffy. What kind of pine did I get? Loblollies. That's right. They're loblolly pines. So, I have a flower on my magnolia. It's very exciting. Actually, a flower on several magnolias. And then the two that got waterlogged and were sad got transplanted farther out. And you can see out there and there. They're alive, they're green. They're gonna take a while to rebound, but they'll be fine. The Dawn Redwood that is beyond the sad magnolia there, it's all leafing out. The Arizona cypresses are doing well. And the big one is the loblolly that I got from Stadler. And it looked a little bit like a large Charlie Brown Christmas tree last year, but with spring it's putting out, it's fluffing up, so that's good. So I'm pretty pleased with all that. We have a whole row of Arizona cypresses we put on the back side of those black locusts. Can't wait to cut them all out. Oh, sorry. Lots of clusters of apples. And which one are you? You're a Honeycrisp, but that's just too much weight for that spindly little branch. That one can be all by himself. So cute. I need to thin him back. So, and that was another one that I think it came and it snapped, and that was from a couple years ago, and it put out new limbs. So, you know, they've done well, as long as you don't want instant, size. And these we had bought a couple of years before that, a couple of falls. So they're bigger, obviously. And we had a nice little fire pit Friday night. So that was good. As you can see, this is where I say I'm going to have more raised beds. From the one I have here, I can fit 1, 2, 3 more and still be able to drive in through the big gate with the Kubota. And here's the fire pit area. So, still working on the back. It's an improvement. My project maybe next weekend is to pull the stuff out of the shed, actually get it cleaned out, the shelving set up so that I can get everything in there easily and be able to store stuff better. The stuff that I don't need to get to all the time, like, my stacks of pots and things, all of that will be going in there. Oh, and then I ordered enough fertilizer and raised bed and, compost and stuff. I've got a nice little stash going on in here. That's some super hoops, large hoops. And then, as I showed before, I still have piles of compost and dirt out there that I'm working off of. And finally, the new host link is, it like self-righted itself. It was really not running smoothly, and a couple days ago it finally started doing it. So, yay! Hi, bees. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Yes. Todd was concerned that he wasn't seeing as many bees. And we have bees. I saw my first monarch yesterday and swallowtail butterfly today. They're coming. And once that lavender bed blooms, they'll be here. So, anyway, that's the state of the garden. Early June. Everything's happy. It's all up and running. And I actually feel like I'm somewhat prepared. The drip is working. I've got the pressure reducer on, so I'm not in a panic. I do have to still manually water because I never finished the drip to that first raised bed in the back. But the main square is on drip, and that's a big relief to know that they get good water around 8:30 a.m. and if I need to, I can set it to come on a second time in the afternoon when we start getting the really hot days, and that'll be great. So anyway, so Liz, V, Elizabeth, Nathaniel, hope your travels are going well so far, and I will keep you posted.